If you're using dating apps to date women and you're relying on dating apps as your main strategy to meet women, you're going to want to listen to this video, especially if you don't look like a conventionally extremely attractive guy like this dude. Now, why should you listen to me? Well, only a few years ago, I looked like this with acne on my face and literally a virgin with no dating life to living a life of basically a 1% man. This is all the dates that I go on, all the girls that I sleep with, and this has been my life for the past few years. Every single week I go on dates with attractive girls, new girls, and I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to understanding how dating works, what makes women attractive, especially as an average guy. I'm only 5'10", and this is the result that I get. So hopefully this gives you an idea as to why you should listen to me and that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Now, let's jump into the meat of this. So now, based on the data, a sample of 200 people on dating apps, 150 of those are men and 50 are women. So already we're not doing very well when it comes to the ratio. For every 3 guys, there is 1 woman on a dating app. But most importantly, let's do the rating of those people, of those men inside the dating app. So at the top here, the top of that 150 men, let's just say that there is these very attractive guys, and at the bottom you have the less genetically gifted men, and that is kind of the ratings that we're looking at in terms of the looks for the users in dating apps. Now, the top 10% here at the very top, which is a very few people in society and on dating apps, they get 60% of matches. So already here, you can see how fucking shocking this is. Top 10% of men get 60% of women on dating apps, which doesn't leave a lot to the rest of men. But essentially, it gets a little bit, they have a bit of an advantage because for every 1 guy in the top 10%, they have 2 women essentially chasing them. So they've got it very easy. They're just hanging out there and getting a lot of women to text them. This is the power of being extremely attractive when you are on dating apps. Now, the second 10% of men get only 20% of women. So they are still doing very well. They're still very attractive. They're probably, I mean, obviously, definitely above than average, but they only get 20% of matches from the match pool, which is incredibly shocking because you would think that those guys are, still very attractive, still perhaps very, doing well. They should deserve more than just below average and only just 20% of the matches. So it gets worse. It gets incredibly worse because the quality of women obviously is just, it's below average. You're dealing with girls that are like just not even worth dating. So it's very sad. But the worst thing is for every 3 guys, there's only 2 girls. So if you're one of those guys, which again, it's still a very small percentile of the male population, you have 2 other guys competing for the same girl. So every guy in the second 10% has 2 guys competing with him, at least. Now, this is the destiny of most men. Men like me, if you're in that bracket, then this is going to probably be your experience if it's not your experience already. If you're not, if you're in the top second, the top 10% or the second top 10%, you're probably doing better than this, but it's just not worth it, right? Like you're dating below average girls and you're just better off doing something else with your dating life and not relying on dating apps. But 80% of men only have 20% of matches on dating apps. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely shocking. But you have to also understand that above average men are competing for just 15% of women on dating apps. Okay, just 15% of women, and that 15% is literally like a 2, a 3, a 4, not even an average girl. Okay, so it's already a losing battle. For every 6 guys in the above average category, there is 1 girl that they're competing for, right? So for every 1 girl below average, there is 6 above average guys trying to fight for her attention. It's ridiculous. This is the dead zone. This is where it gets incredibly worse because there is the bottom 50%, so the below average guys are only getting 5% of matches. And you can imagine the quality of those girls. It's absolutely terrifying. But this is the terrifying stats. For every 30 guy in the dead zone, below 50%, below average, there is just 1 guy. There is just 1 girl for them. For 30 guys. Like, dude, I don't even want to fucking think about it. So it is just insane. And just to recap, this is what it looks like, okay? If you're not in the top 10% on dating apps, you have no business being on dating apps. Like, that's is the truth. You're better off as an average guy or an above average guy going up to some girls and doing cold approach and getting numbers and trying to get them out on a date, or doing social circle game or any sort of fucking game outside of fucking dating apps, because it is just not worth it. And this is the reason why you have to understand. On this graph here, we've got the ratings for female looks and we've got the ratings for males looks here. This is the expectation women have, not only on dating apps, but predominantly perhaps in life in general. You can see that a female 3 believes that she deserves a 7, right? A 7 guy, right? And a 5 believes that she deserves an 8 or a 9. Like, you can see the delusion that women have been sold because of mainstream society, mainstream media, the Kardashians, whatever the case may be. They just have this delusion and they always want the best that they can get. It's actually even further than this. They always want the best of the best, but they don't necessarily deserve it. And these guys here, the 6, the 7, the 8, they will happily, sleep with these girls. And these girls will happily sleep with them without necessarily expecting relationships from these guys, right? Unless you're like an 8 or a 9, then they're dating kind of their equivalent. So on online dating, the whole format is skewed. So the solution is to stop relying on dating apps as your main strategy for dating, because it is designed for the top 10% of men. So you need to have a strategy, and this is the result that I was able to generate with the strategy that I'm about to show you. And this is not a pitch. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm just trying to actually awaken your mind to understand that there is a whole system you can exploit, that you can put in place for your dating life to actually get this result. There is nothing special about me. I don't look conventionally attractive. I am only 5'10", and these are the results that I get. These are the girls that I sleep with. I mean, you can look at these girls. They are definitely outside of my league. So let's look at the system that I use. And this is essentially what I called the Ferrari method. And you can see here that it's a little bit like a sales funnel, because I think dating is very similar to sales. And you can see here my engage phase, which is basically where I am able to meet girls. This is where I meet girls, whether it's in real life or on social media or on dating apps. Even though I don't use dating apps as my primary focus, I still have it as a form of lead generation. I don't rely on it unless I really go down in the rabbit hole and try to maximize my profile. You might increase your result a little bit, but I don't think it's worth it. The ROI is not as worth it as if you just walked up to a very attractive 10 out of 10 in the supermarket, understood how to speak with her in an attractive way, get her number, and then invite her out to something cool, alongside having a nurturing system, like having a good social media, having a fun lifestyle, understanding how to text women, which is everything that I talk about and I coach in my private programs. But I'm just essentially giving you the overview here so that you understand that there is a way to actually do better than dating apps. And this is the system that I use, and it has allowed me, as you saw, to date extremely attractive women as a guy who I'm just, there's nothing special about me. And these are all the different ways that you can engage with women, that you can meet women outside of dating apps, right? I include it here because I'm not a one-hit wonder. I don't just do cold approach. I also do social circle. I also do social media. I also meet girls on the fucking plane. I also meet girls on through friends. Like, there isn't no one specific way. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But there is one skill that you can definitely learn, which is the skill of speaking to women in an attractive way. And there is no better way of learning that skill and communicating with women through then learning cold approach. Cold approach is the only skill that will allow you to unlock that capability, that competence of being attractive around women with your behavior, without having to rely on an algorithm or some app that makes you pay to get you shit matches. So you have to double down on yourself. That's the point that I'm making here. You have to cultivate the skill, put yourself in situations where you're able to meet women, where you are in front of these 10 out of 10 girls, where you're in front of these quality girls, and have a system to bring them into your life. Have a system to get closer to them, to bring them into your vicinity, to get them back out into meeting you and get involved with you, and have a strategy psychologically, a strategy that is proven psychologically to work in attracting women. That's what I talk about. Now, if you're a guy who wants to learn how I do this in greater detail and actually start dating women on a weekly basis that are outside of your league, you can check the link down below to work with me one-on-one or get inside my community. Alternatively, there is videos inside this YouTube channel that I go into detail with, that is going to essentially show you some of the things that I use, some of the things that I do to help you essentially get the result that I get. Now, you don't have to sign up to my paid programs because that's not for everybody. If you want to go faster, sure, we can work together. But if you still want to learn, this is the YouTube channel for you. Make sure you subscribe and that you watch the videos that I post, because I go into great detail on this, and this has allowed me to literally change my life. Because if I still relied on dating apps, I will be fucking nowhere today. So I'll see you on the next one. Subscribe, peace out, and make sure to leave a comment down below if you want me to cover anything specifically, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.